How did Mary Whitehouse describe Kenny Everett's dance troupe Hot Gossip? She said they were obscene.
You're watching Tuesday's show. We're live on Channel 5 with Steve First, Natalie Pinkham and Flashdance the musical star, Matt Willis. Matt's going to have the rest of today's headlines for you shortly. But first, did the dirty dancing routines on this weekend's X Factor go too far? Right Stuff at 5.tv is the place for your thoughts. Front page news of the Daily Mail today. 1 in 3 Brits got an eyeful on Saturday night as Rihanna and then Christina Aguilera were joined by a bevy of scantily clad dancers who made various bump and grind... Really? Is that what they did? Oh, God. Why don't I watch this show, I'm asking myself. I thought it was for kids. Anyway, bump and grind moves and pulled countless legs wide open poses, all of which were broadcast well before the 9 o'clock watershed. ITV insists the performances were appropriate, but the Daily Mail reckons more than 1,000 of you have complained to ITV and a further 1,000 plus have taken your grievances to the watchdog Ofcom. That is a lot of complaints, I promise you, a hell of a lot. So, did the X Factor go too far? Did the dances fly in the face of last week's announcement by the condoms that they may be clamping down on excessively raunchy TV shows aimed at kiddies? Were Saturday's routines, and this is the bit we've been arguing about it all morning, the older members of the crew and myself, were the routines any different from what Hot Gossip used to serve up on the Kenny Everett show 40-odd years ago? And actors we just heard, Mary Whitehouse branded obscene. Steve, you barely can remember Kenny Everett, but you remember him a bit.
Barely remember.
I'm trying to... playing nicely.
I don't want to... Just the older you get, you don't want to kind of fall into that, Daily Mail, prude. But there is a part of me that goes, no, honestly, I don't watch The X Factor, but I did see that retrospectively on a loop. In the privacy of my own home with the curtains drawn, but I'm an adult, and that is something that I choose to do. But it is different from the Kenny Everett. I think what it is, in terms of... nudity, it's the same level. You've got... we were discussing this earlier. You've got girls in fishnets, in basques, you know, on chairs dancing. But there is something about the essence of the dance that pushes it that little bit further in terms of an attitude that is sexier than just what they're wearing.
Than Hot Gossip used to do in the 70s?
I think Hot Gossip were the first to really push it. And occasionally you did go... you know, or oh God, that's far too extreme. But
I remember feeling very embarrassed watching it with my parents in the room because it really was.
Yeah, especially what my dad was doing when I was watching it as well.
OK, Steve.
He was reading the paper.
Right.
But I've got 2 kids,
yeah.
And of course they love the X Factor. And you know, if I've got them with me, I'm like, oh God, we've got to have that rubbish on. But you do go, oh my word, I do think it is. I do think it's slightly inappropriate, and I think the same of a lot of videos. And I don't want to be prudish because it's not my nature.
OK, can I just chuck this at you? Cara Tyneton on Strictly Come Dancing, wearing next to nothing as well. Right, on a show that goes out even earlier.
But there's something about the dance routine in a ballroom dancing discipline that is not as sexualised as it is in a kind of free-form, burlesque-style dance on a show like that.
I'll give you that. Natalie?
And it's only going one way, that's the
Anything to
problem.
complain about, though, first of all?
Well, I mean, I love the X Factor. I follow it, unlike Steve, religiously, and I loved it on Saturday night. But even I was sitting at home going, oh, hello. Like,
really? Because honestly, I'm not just saying this. I mean, maybe I've been desensitised, but I just don't really... It's raunchy, but it doesn't seem any raunchier. I mean, I've seen far worse videos on MTV.
Yeah, but that's different because you can say to your kids, right, you can't watch MTV, or you can at least censor those videos to an extent. When you're sitting down with your family about to watch X Factor, you don't expect a big old ass in your face, do you? Well, I don't know, you might. You hope.
Yeah.
I thought it was an incredible show. I thought Rihanna and Christina Aguilera were incredible on it. But my concern is that it's only going in one direction. And it's like you always have to outdo the last one. And, I mean, they're going to be naked by the end of it, or just sort of nipple tassels or something. I don't know which other direction they can go in. They just get sexier and sexier. And I wouldn't want my nieces and... Well, I've got one niece, my niece, to watch that.
What about when your daughter's older, Matt? Would you have a problem with her watching that?
Do you know what? I don't think so. You know, I mean, I like to think openly about it and go, what is actually wrong with that? I mean, if they were simulating something which I would disapprove of, you know, like, I mean, it's kind of what they're doing with it, I suppose. Like what you were saying with the essence of the dance. If you're simulating stuff and your facial expressions are a bit risque, then I can kind of see where they're coming from. Unfortunately, I wasn't in on Saturday night to watch it, but you know, I have heard that it was.
But when your 8-year-old daughter starts imitating dance routines in a disc, in a kind of, I've seen girls dance at parties. It's unbelievable.
Okay. But before we do that, so one of my godsons, right, his big thing is he does impressions of Michael Jackson. He's been doing them since he's 4 years old, and he grabs his crotch. Okay. Now, I find that quite disturbing for all manner of reasons, least of which that I wouldn't want any child of mine looking up to Michael Jackson, who's entirely innocent, even though he's dead, entirely innocent of child abuse allegations, one should say. Does it matter that you only saw girls in skimpy underwear gyrating?
We were talking about yesterday, about the pressure, the overwhelming pressure on so many girls to be sexy all the time. Girls were wearing thongs and, you know...
the blokes just wore suits.
They did, you're right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So it's sexist and sexual, overtly sexual.
But Matt Cardle did wear some pretty shocking pants.
Who?
I'd rather he... The guy who won it.
Oh, God, I've forgotten about him already. Sorry. That was so yesterday's news. 2 words, Steve Brookstein. Right, so, did the X Factor's dirty dances go too far for your taste, for your children? Stuff@5.tv is the place for your thoughts. Now, just before we find out if snooping can ever be justified, snooping on your loved one, what do people make of dirty dancing on the X Factor?
OK, loads of emails, as I'm sure you'd imagine. Liz says, I watched X Factor with my 9-year-old son, and he said, why are all those women sitting so close to each other like that? I did feel it was a little bit OTT for family entertainment, and I am no prude.
OK.
Michelle, she said, my problem with the X Factor was that they were at primary schools recruiting votes, then showing highly provocative sexual dancers. They were mixing children's TV with highly sexualised performances, and it's not on. And then finally, Fred says there are many offensive things about the X Factor, but the worst thing is watching a talentless creep like Louis Walsh being paid good money for being a professional Irishman.
It's funny, because all the Irish people I know are witty and charming, so I don't quite get that. He's
charming.
like the least witty and charming Irishman. He's nice, is he? Is he nice?
Yeah.
I'm being told he's nice. Funny hair. Still, so...